what it was. Y'all know who it is. And y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge Itself. And I figured I'd put y'all down with one more dose of this cosmic insight for the day. And say, man, it's still Wednesday, so we still humping. No, I'm just playing. But what we are is still neck deep off in this Pluto series. And this time, it's going to be a little something about those people that have Pluto in the 4th house of their natal chart. And before I even go there, you know what I'm going to do first. I'm going to bring y'all a little information about Pluto in astrology, and I'll also give a quick breakdown about the 4th house in astrology. So with that being said, man, let me light my shit and let's get this shit cracking, huh? In astrology, Pluto is what I like to call the great revealer. And wherever Pluto is in your chart, there's pretty often a very dark night before the dawn. Pluto's all about power, magnetism, death, depth, sex, transformation, regeneration, and rebirth. And I also say that domination kind of comes under Pluto's umbrella. Pluto resides in the primordial ooze of your character. It brings mind purge and regeneration by releasing buried power from core truth. Pluto for me is the planet of creative destruction. In your birth chart, Pluto shows the areas of your life you'll personally face the intense power of creation through destruction. It's the vessel through which little compressed pockets of magic, spirit, and primal energy kind of wait to be activated either by self-provocation or outside traumatic events. And, you know, because of this, Pluto's power is often feared. The thing is, wherever it is in your chart, it can put you in a showdown between your greatest fears of being destroyed and the pursuits of whatever your heart longs for the most. And even as your ego holds on to its defenses, Pluto is going to force you to let go and surrender. Yeah. This is about power. And so, what's the 4th house in astrology? The 4th house is ruled by the moon and the sign of Cancer, and is considered the house of family or home. It's also known as the Natal or the IC, and it's here that we plant ourselves firmly and really lay down our roots into the earth, as it were. And, you know, one day we'll return to this same very earth. So it's here in the 4th that things are brought full circle, man, by also addressing old age, endings, and our final resting place. Yeah. On another note, this house can also speak to our relationship with our mother and how that has really shaped our sense of self in whatever way. So that's definitely worth paying attention to. And, you know, the 4th house can also represent our actual house and any real estate we may own or acquire too. So there's also that to consider. But more than anything else, the IC is all about family, history, and traditions, and what we can all contribute in the process of building a genuinely actualized and individualized self, which is a sense of home, you know, in its highest form. And any planets placed here, you know, they really show what energy we have to work with in a domestic sense. You get what I mean? Or it shows that, you know, how we're going to act in a domestic sense. So, it's a mug. Well, what about the people that were born with Pluto in the 4th house of their natal chart? Okay, so this is somebody that was born into a family that, for whatever reason, you know, feeling safe were somewhat impaired. Maybe the conditions of the childhood were especially dangerous, volatile, or even abusive. Or maybe it's something more subtle than that. But either way, something was going down that disrupted the feeling of being safe and adequately loved for in the home. And it really affected these people deeply. And a lot of times we find people who were born into families where the dynamic was based on power and control and manipulation. And it's possible that they themselves had to assume the position of the scapegoat or the black sheep because of that bullshit that was going on. I will say that it isn't always that dramatic, but it can be. But the overall energy of this placement is that what should have been a safe, nurturing, or comforting environment for the individual actually became a major source of anxiety, fear, and resentment for him. And that's a bitch. Because With this position of Pluto, we find motherfuckers who compulsively seek out a feeling of love, safety, and nurturance. But the more they look for it in other motherfuckers, the more they find themselves feeling unsafe and uncared for and taken advantage of, because you're looking for love in all the wrong places, baby. And at the same time, Pluto represents our personal power. And as much as their nature is not keen on doing so, the power of this placement comes from learning to develop true emotional resilience by counting on yourself to be your own motherfucking safe place and your own motherfucking nurturer. You understand? And the more they realize that they're their own personal powerhouse, the more love they have to give and the more space they have to receive a authentic love that feels nurturing, safe, and kind. And with that, then transformation can begin for them. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Growth. And that's what Pluto's all about. Maybe I'm always talking about it because I have a Pluto dominant chart, But anyway, the more this person focuses on developing emotional independence, the more relationships with family can actually become a source of empowerment instead of a source of pain. Speaking of pain, it's likely that those painful childhood conditions trigger something in this individual that, push them to believe that emotional manipulation is the best way to obtain love. Yeah. These are probably some of the most manipulative people that they are. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that it's malicious in them doing so. And I know people are like, how is manipulation not malicious? There's a whole bunch of ways manipulation ain't malicious, okay? But it's more of a learned way of them dealing with their emotions that's gonna, have to be painfully ripped from their psyche in order for them to change that over time. For example, those with these fourth house Pluto folks, with them, we usually find a household where we're told in love, passive aggression, stonewalling, shooting slugs, and manipulative displays of emotion were probably the main ways of dealing with each other in their house. There could have also been a lot of codependency, enmeshment, and overall toxic use of emotions going on that are part of a cycle that this motherfucker has been tasked to break this lifetime. And that's what Pluto's trying to tell you here, if you understand. As far as personality traits go, this is someone who has to grow up fast and be mature beyond their years. And unfortunately, they're probably born to parents who were incapable of being able to see them for their true natures. So what does that do? It causes a mistrust. And that mistrust that was between them and their parents, or their early life, it projects onto everybody else and manifests in a person who is extremely secretive and detached, or even be the type to cry wolf every time they don't get the shit that they feel that they deserve. They fear intimacy, but they're always going to be dependent on others in some way because their sense of belonging is too strong for them to overcome. But until they find peace within themselves, man, and forgive whatever fucked up their sense of home and security, they're always going to have issues in this life. Yeah, with Pluto, it's going to serve it to you cold, and you're going to have to deal with it. But once you deal with it, your power comes from it. Your power comes from it. They can't live with their family, but they can't live without them either. But they're going to have to figure out somehow to find forgiveness, find acceptance, then forgiveness, and then transformation. And that's what we're all about. Whatever you do, y'all need to resist the urge to shut down that's always just there toying with you. Pardon me. Cause I promise, it don't serve you. Cause that brain is still going, and no matter what happened to you in your childhood, it's never too late for you to be the one to decide that shit needs to be different. Okay? And once you do that, all you got to do is make it so. You got the power to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just make it so. Okay? Hey, man. It don't matter where you have Pluto at, man. It doesn't matter if you have it in the 4th, the 7th, the 1st like I do, the 10th, the 5th. Who the 5th could be a motherfucker, but hey man, you'll be all right, because just because you built like that, it don't mean you have to build like that, man. And we in this to win this. Just make sure you ain't going backwards. If y'all fucking with me, please like, share, subscribe. Go join my Facebook group, Priceless Knowledge Yourself. If you're interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, please either hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And also, hey man, I know a lot of y'all be going through it, man. If you're going through it, feel free to hit me up. If you have a question as far as astrology goes, one simple question, hey, hit me up and I'll try to answer it for you. But I've been having a whole bunch of people sending me their information talking about, tell me what you see in my chart. No, man. Look here, baby. This is what I do for a living. I'm a professional. And so that is going to cost you. And I do have people lined up, and I will try to fit you in if you do pay, if you understand what I'm saying. So I don't have time to bullshit. I'm here to help you if you have a problem, and I'll never charge nobody to help them in that way. But if you just shoot me your birth details with a command, you ain't going to get shit from me. Understand that.